In the past 2 years, ALYA Resort has been my #1 most recommended resort in Vietnam. So I wanted to come back and see, was it still as good? Hi there, my name is Kevin. This channel came from a love of traveling, a love of the full process and the journey itself. I feature airline trip reports and high-end hotel reviews from all over the world. My reviews aren't sponsored by airlines or hotels, so you can be sure to get my unbiased and honest opinion. Am I an expert? You can decide. Am I fair? Yeah, I am. Let's get into it. Welcome to Nha Trang. If you'd like to know the exact nightly rate that I paid for my stay, or my next 5 videos in queue, please check out the description below. Right now, we're in ALYA's arrival lounge, where you're going to end up after about an hour's drive from the airport. From here, you'll take a 15-minute boat ride to the resort itself on the Ninh Văn Peninsula. So, I think I'm going to call this series, if it becomes that, Resorts Revisited. But full disclosure, I'm not considering this a review per se, even though it has a score. Why? Well, once I publish a video about a property, there are a litany of ways that they can put together the puzzle and figure out who I am. So, when I revisit a place, I cannot guarantee that the visit is anonymous. And I want to save my reviews for absolutely anonymous visits. But I can guarantee you that this visit was still 100% self-funded, and I received zero compensation in any way for staying here or for making this video. Actually, truthfully, I had zero intentions of making this video here. I was visiting with family. I didn't want to work. But there are just some parts about this resort that are just so freaking good that after just a few hours here, I decided, okay, I need to make another video about this, and I'll figure out what to call it later. So, think about this as a supplemental update, a check-in to see if my original score still applies. In fact, here's the original score. My system was a little bit different 2 years ago, but fundamentally the same. With my current metrics, this would also translate to a 92. So, today is going to have a faster pace than normal. Feel free to check out my original ALYA review linked above. I'd also recommend to take a look at my 6 Senses Ninh Văn Bay video. So, we have Nha Trang, a coastal city in southern Vietnam. To the south is Cam Ranh and the airport, and to the north is the Ninh Văn Peninsula, which has a total of 3 resorts on it. You already know that I love to have space to spread out, and ALYA is built for just that. Very unscientifically, I can pretty much guarantee you that you're going to get more beachfront and space in general per villa here than at any of the other 2 properties on the peninsula. With only 33 villas in total, you're going to feel like you've got this resort all to yourself, even when they're at capacity. Every villa does have its own private pool, but that doesn't mean that the main pool here isn't a beautiful looker of its own. But the beach is the main event for me. All of this beach that you see is private to the resort. There are literally no roads to get here. The water is calm, and it is absolutely as clean as a beach could be. If it wasn't for the fact that I love the villas so much, I'd probably say that you couldn't get me off this beach. So, who's staying here? Well, I lovingly refer to this as 6 Senses Light, but without the 300 different activities. Before you come to ALYA, I recommend you ask yourself one thing just to get an idea of if you'd fit in here. Ask yourself, do I really want to get away? Like, really, really away? If the answer is yes, then this laid-back haven is probably for you. The grounds are one of the best features. From the gardens, to the flowers, to the walking trails, buggy paths, everything is just so well taken care of. And that is specifically why I made this video. As we take a look at this beautiful lagoon, which separates some of the villas from the beach itself, let me explain. Early on in COVID, Vietnam did very well. Hell, for a while, every story in the international media was either about Vietnam or New Zealand for staying COVID-free. Well, we know that changed, but for Vietnam, the waves of COVID came much later than the rest of the world, at a time when the Western world was already beginning to reopen, and Thailand was about to do the same. So, without going into detail, Vietnam's tourism industry is still now in a very precarious position. It has not recovered to anywhere near the likes of neighboring Thailand or Indonesia, Bali specifically, for example. So, literally, when I walked into my villa here and I saw how well cared for it was, even now, that's when I knew I wanted to do anything I could to ensure that this resort specifically recovers well, because I want to come back too. Let's take a quick peek at my room. This time I had a Hill Rock pool villa. I believe every single villa here is a little bit different, but especially the Hill Rock villas. Mine was right next to my visiting families, but their villa was completely different in setup, but equally equipped and both with fantastic views. Up a couple flights of stairs, and there is a primary, let's call it the house. The upper floor of the house has the bedroom, a small balcony, and a half bath. As we walk around, I just encourage you to look at all of the detail of the woodwork. It's all honestly as if it was new, not as if it was from 2011 when this property originally opened. Downstairs is the full bath with double sinks, a soaking tub, shower, and 2 full-size wardrobes. Full disclosure, the villas here, like on-lam retreats, they don't have locks. I'm not a fan of it, but the vibe here is, I don't know, there's nothing wrong with on-lam, but here I just felt more comfortable with the system. And the safe was bigger. Nothing more. Next to the main pool house is the outdoor living area, which is the primary reason why I love the Hill Rock pool villas so much. Last time I was here, I had a Lagoon villa, which I think I like the layout of a little bit better, but the views from up here, they can't be beat. This will likely be the one that I come back to again. At the moment, there are 2 bars. One is more of a meeting space and game room, and the other one on the beach is the true sunset bar. As we look around, let me talk a little bit about the service. I'll get the low point out of the way. The restaurant service needs work. Nothing horrible, and everyone well-intentioned. But it's clearly a newer team at the time when I was there, and they just need to learn a few more phrases in English and Korean, and just be a bit more proactive. Not a huge problem, but worth mentioning. The part of the service that I do want to talk about, though, are the butlers. To this day, ALYA is the only resort that I've ever been to that sent out a questionnaire before arriving asking what kind of service do you prefer. I forget the exact words that they use, but it was essentially asking, do you like high-touch, mid-touch, or low-touch service? How involved do you want your butler and the staff in general to be? How much do you want to see him or her? What do you need them for? It just made me think, that's really clever. And the nice part is, they really do adapt well to what you request. As is well established on my videos before, I like behind the scenes, thoughtful, but lower touch service. My family, though, prefer much higher touch service, and we both got exactly what we wanted from the same butler. I don't call out staff names in reviews, but the butlers here are just a special bunch who will bend over backwards to ensure that your stay is whatever you want it to be. The resort has one restaurant, surely more than enough for a 33-room property, and throughout the day the restaurant has many faces. If I could change one thing about the restaurant, I'd say that it's a bit dated, both in decor, specifically at nighttime, meaning like the tablecloths and stuff, but also the menu itself. But I was pleasantly surprised that the food was better than the last time I was here. From fresh bay scallops to the beef salad, which was possibly the best thing on their menu, to nem nung, pumpkin soup, sour soup, roasted duck breast, everything was really solid. And the sunsets, well, they speak for themselves. Mind you, sunsets in Vietnam are actually a very rare thing. Besides Phu Quoc all the way in the south of Vietnam, there really aren't that many places in the country that have resorts with sunset views. In the mornings, as always, you've got two choices: eat more food or work off more food. The spa and fitness center for a resort of this size is more than adequate. The breakfast here this year was much better than I remember in 2021. If I had to complain about one thing, I'd say that the presentation could be a bit better. Those room service cloches with wine corks as handles are a little bit odd and monotonous. But the food selection was surprisingly diverse, and the hot foods were wonderfully hot. On slower weekdays, they'll have just about the same spread, but available from an unlimited a la carte menu. Of course, this may change during high season. So, this video, not entirely sure what it is or if I'll do more like it, but I can say for sure that ALYA has done nothing but improve over the past 2 years. I'll remind you that my scores are always relative to the price that I pay, which is what makes ALYA such a no-brainer. Find me another pool villa in Vietnam with grounds as beautiful as here for the same or almost the same price. Go ahead. Find me one, I'll wait. I can tell you right now, it doesn't exist. I really do hope that you enjoyed this video today. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. I'm not going to torture you with another short Vietnam Airlines video, so the next one you'll see is on Air Premia in premium economy from Saigon to Seoul. Oh, and thanks for watching till the end.